Okay, I'm going to talk about how to find the first non-blank value in a list. This is going to be a comprehensive of any situation you could run into when you're looking down a list here, like this one right here. Um, so this one works great if these are blanks, but we can run into a situation where these may not be blank. So I'm going to be looking at everything. This is the website ExcelJet by David Bruns. Great website. Love his stuff. I want to go ahead and give credit to him for this great article. But like I say, if you have a certain situation, is blank is not going to work. And so we're going to discuss the formula that will make it work in most situations. He talks about this down below where you can use the len value. However, the length doesn't work in situations where there are zeros. Now, zeros are not blank cells. I should just say zero in cells. But you could run into a situation where you have zeros instead of blanks, and you want to do the same thing, and that formula is not working. So if you don't want to hear me ramble on about sort of walking through how these came about and breaking down these formulas, you can just look here. This is the formulas I've settled on that are the most standardized and work in these situations. You can see all of these right here are the same basic structure. We're using the length formula in there. And that works for if the cells are blank or if there are apostrophes inside the blanks. The one down where there's zeros, we're using, instead of the length, we're changing it around a little bit. So we're taking out the length and we're just doing D8 to D14 equals 0 with no parentheses in between there. So this is a sheet here that I filled out that will sort of show you, well, let's see. So it breaks down the three different sections. There's really three different sections to this formula. You got the index, you got your match function, and then you got your, I guess this would be like a variable. It varies. It's sort of like, this is the main thing that you can change around that's going to determine, whether the formula is going to work or not. But every single one has the same basic structure of index, put the range, match, then what are you looking for inside of this right here. So it's broken down here, and you can see on some of these I've put two formulas where two things will work. The thing with the is blank and the is number, you're going to run into issues using those, and it's not going to work in every scenario because it works up here, right? Is blank, these are blank. So over here, wanting to return either true or false, and we want one thing to return on all the numbers here and something else to return on all the blanks. And so is blank does that here. And it does it here with words, and it does it here with both numbers and words. But down here, when we have the bunny ears or the zeros, right, these are no longer blank. There's something in them. So is blank is not going to work. And down here, is number would work because these are not technically numbers. But down here, is number wouldn't work. Right, so you're running into, over here, is number wouldn't work because they're words. So you can run into scenarios where these is blank, is number types of formulas are not going to work in every scenario. So length, what this does is this looks at the characters in the text string. So that's computer code. Let's just have them explain it here. The number of characters in a text string. So what that means is for 10 here, that's going to be 2. For 456, that's going to be 3 because there's 3 numbers in that. And for 0 to 9, it's going to be 1. For anything that's blank, it's going to be 0. So this works for when they're truly blank. It also works here with the apostrophes because this apostrophe is it's not a number. There's no characters on it. The The reason why you might see it in a cell is because it returns a value that is greater than any other number in that you could possibly have. So if I was to ask it, is this blank cell right here greater than 10? It would say yes, true. Okay, if I was to ask up here, is this blank cell greater than 10? It would say false. And then down here, is this greater than 10? It would also be false. So if I do this something similar over here where I've entered all these and I do an if statement and I say, if it's greater than 0, tell me it's infinity, otherwise tell me it's 0. You can see that this is the only one that returns infinity. So that's why it could be used in some of the blank cells sometimes, why someone would do that rather than not having it, just leaving it blank. But it's not actually a number. And if we ask it how many characters does it have, it's going to return a value of 0. So the length function works really well on this one because you can see there's numbers on anything that's a number and also a word as well. Blue is going to be 4 because there's 4 letters there. What it doesn't work on is it doesn't work down here. So that's going to return 1, and then the issue you're going to have there is if you have something maybe instead of 10 we've got 8 here. All right, well that's going to return the same as 0, right? It's returning a number, so it doesn't do a good job at separating between zeros and the numbers. So what we can do here is all we're looking for really is something that returns either true or false on any line with a 0, and then the opposite on any line that is a number, a letter, whatever the case may be. And so if we were to say equals this equals 4, that's going to return what they call a Boolean response. Boolean means either true or false, because what we're asking is we're saying if does D35 equal 4? And so it's saying no, it doesn't equal 4. So we can use that same thing as far as separating between is it 0 or is it not 0. So we're going to come here and we're going to say equals all of these. So what this is going to do is it's going to run through each cell and test each cell, and then it's going to spill over into the ones below it. So that range equals 0. And so it's saying that yes, this is equals 0, no this doesn't, yes this does, no this doesn't. And so that is how we can get it to work on zeros. So I'm going to go ahead and fill these out, and hopefully this visually helps understand how what's working in these long formulas. Because if you were to look at a formula like this, you're not really going to know what's going on in there, at least unless you're experienced. I look at them, I don't know what's going on. It's a lot of formulas jumbled into each other and nested. So we're going to take here on all of these, we're going to take the length of these, and we're going to equal 0. And so that's going to return, is the length 0 or is it not 0? Okay, and so it's saying, well, there's nothing here, so that would be true. If there's nothing there, it's going to return 0 characters. And if there is something there, it's going to return 1 or 2 or 3. So then that's what we use with the match function. So before I do this, I'm going to copy this into all of these other ones here. Alright, so we have those in there. And so now I'm going to start on the match. The lookup value, we want it to return, want it to look up false. Anything that is not blank. So false, and then we're going to use these right here. and we use F8 over F14 or to F14. And then the match type, we want to put 0 because we want an exact match. So that's going to tell us that in order to find false, we have to go down 1, 2, second row. It's on the second row. So it's the first row, it's the second row. So start up here and go 1, 2. So that's what that's saying. And then this moves down every single time. So in order to avoid having, I don't know that it really matters that whether it moves down or not. I'll show you what I'm talking about here. So you can see this is spilling down into this. So because we're looking from top down, I don't know that it really matters, but if you wanted to just keep it clean, you could lock this so that it's not extending down, and that keeps it, in there. And then, so now that we have that, that's going to tell us the row that we want the index to go down and find. So the index is going to be the array. The row is going to be this. We want it to start here and then go 1, 2. For this one, we want it to start here and go. So this is going to move down with each row. So it's going to move down to here, and so we're going to start here and go 1. So and then the columns, we don't want it to move at all, so it's going to be 0. And so we're not locking these. We can probably lock this one. Hopefully that's going to matter. So we're starting here at D8, and then as we go down, we're going D9. Going down 1, so we're trying 1, and so on and so forth. And so the final output is going to be index D8. So the array is, we want it to look up a number in here. How many rows do we want it to go down? So we're going to use the match. We're going to say we want to go down the number of rows that we want you to go into. I guess say it's difficult to put this into English when it's all jumbled together, so hopefully splitting it out like that helps. We're first finding the character lengths of D8 and D14, and then we want to say, okay, using that information, we want to go down and find the first one that is false. And then whatever that number is, that's the row number that we want you to go down in the index. And then for the columns, we're going to say, let's see, I'm going to close something off here. No, okay, we're saying exact match. Okay. Then we don't need to put anything for the column, but if you wanted to, you could put that right there if you wanted to. All right, so like we say, the length down here when you have zeros is not going to work because it's returning nothing as 0 because the 0 is going to be a 1. So in order to do that, what we're going to tell it is we don't want it to test the length. We just want it to say, want it to go down and test, is it 0 or is it not 0? And so when we do that, it's going to say, yes, this is 0, no, this is not, yes, this is. And then at that point, we're using the exact same things we used up here for the match and the index. So it's going to be, oh. Starting out with our index, and we're going to go until we hit this cell right here, G35. So it's going to be, we're going to replace G35 with the match. And then same thing here. So we're looking for G35 and G41. We're doing false. So let's see what this is referencing. Okay. Yeah, so we're going to copy and paste this. place this here, and we're going to replace the G35 and G41 with what's in the cell here. So D35 to D41 equals 0. So we're going to replace here. And then that should be it. Let's see. All right, so that's how you can sort of put it together and structure it. All right, so I hope that helps. Here's the cheat sheet again. Show you these formulas are, and have a great one.